the major news today that masks are now mandatory in Victoria, coming into effect just before midnight on Wednesday. Anyone who goes out the house without a mask will face a $200 fine. Here's Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews making the announcement earlier.
If you are out of your home for one of the 4 permitted reasons, then you need to be wearing a mask, and I stress, or a face covering. It need not be a hospital-grade mask. It need not be one of the handmade masks like I was wearing when I came in today. It can be a scarf, it can be a homemade mask. As you know, we have the best part of 2.5–3 million of these masks on order.
This edict was issued even though we've been told throughout the pandemic there is no need to wear a mask, that they don't help, they don't work and are not necessary. Here's Prime Minister Scott Morrison and the Chief Medical Officer Brendan Murphy stating masks were not necessary in April. Here's the quote, here's the comment, and this is from Scott Morrison. It's important to note that the wearing of such a mask does not protect you from an infection, but if you're displaying respiratory symptoms, then it is at best a measure that prevents you transferring it to others. And Brendan Murphy said this. He said, "We're saying again that they are not recommended. We have very low case numbers in Australia, and these masks often aren't of particularly good quality, and they often provide a false sense of security and make people not practice the social distancing measures that we want. So we are not recommending the general community wear masks. We have been saying that consistently through the pandemic." So this was quite a big change of tune today. And this is what the Prime Minister and the Chief Health Officer and Greg Hunt have been saying repeatedly over the past 5 months. But today, Health Minister Greg Hunt welcomed Dan Andrews' move to make the masks mandatory. He said it is now necessary to save lives. Have a listen.
Together, we fully and completely support this difficult decision for the mandatory wearing of masks. It is a function of the level of community transmission in the Melbourne region and surrounding areas. It is necessary.
And now it's not just Melburnians, but even Sydney-siders are being told to wear masks. New South Wales Health has issued a statement today saying people should consider using masks in situations where you're unable to social distance. And their guidelines state you should wear a mask, a surgical mask, when you're in the same room with other people, even if they've been in isolation, and when you visit a healthcare provider. They say that the mask needs to cover your nose and mouth at all times and not to touch it unnecessarily. And so wearing masks are set to become the new normal in Australia as everyone tries to move on with their life and move on with their jobs while living with the threat of COVID-19. But still in Victoria, Daniel Andrews has continued to blame his own citizens rather than accept his own government's failure and accept that the mistakes his government has made are entirely responsible for this outbreak that has now spread to New South Wales. Today, he banned anyone from leaving their own neighbourhood, and quite unfairly, he took aim at a constituent, Karen from Brighton, who went viral on social media after saying this.
Well, you get sick of walking the same streets. I've done all of Brighton.
I've got a very clear message to every single Victorian, particularly some of those featured in social media. Whether you're in Broadmeadows or Brighton, stay at home means stay at home. And if walking your local streets is boring, well, being bored is much better than being in intensive care.